Hey everybody, welcome back to Turkey. And if this is your first video with us, Julie and I, we're traveling the world with our two dogs, trying to see what it's like to live in other places, and we're trying to share our experiences and expenses with you. So today, we're going to share the good, the bad, and the ugly as we prepare to depart from this almost 90-day stay on this trip to Turkey. First off, if you haven't already, please don't forget to subscribe and give this video a like if you find the content useful. So we've done dozens of videos about Turkey on our trips down here, and we love the areas along the coasts. Antalya is our favorite location. We enjoy our time in Alanya. We enjoyed our time in Fethiye, anywhere along the Aegean or the Mediterranean coast just seems to be our cup of tea. We really enjoy it. It can get very hot in the summer. We realize that many of our viewers are looking to move somewhere and live overseas, and so we want to warn you about where you might not want to be. But first, Antalya is our #1 recommendation for a place to set up home. Some areas are off limits due to the high influx of foreigners, but you still have the ability to get residency in Lara Beach, and that's just outside of Antalya. Now, we like to share with you some expenses, so let's go ahead and grab a dessert here in Antalya. So we've got some friends that have come here many times, Cafe Parisian, so we are going to finally go check it out and get some dessert here. Say again?
Care Parisian.
Cafe Parisian. Now, Julie and I, we often share the menus of locations that we go to in case you wanted to order something that we don't order. So we're going to share the menu here with this restaurant. It's not really a restaurant, it's mostly desserts, coffees, and teas, but so that you can see what you would get and what it might cost. So currently the exchange rate is 18.8 Turkish lira to $1 US. The exchange rate is good, but inflation has hit, so things are technically about 30% higher than they were at the beginning of 2022, and here we are in the beginning of 2023. Now, one great thing about Turkey is very dog friendly. Almost any restaurant you go to, your pups are going to be welcome. So if you're a dog lover and you travel with your pets like Julie and I, this is a country for you. And Turkey is also known for some of the best desserts in the world. So if you are a dessert lover, this is a country for you as well. It's tough to resist them. Trust me, I've gained weight here. How is it?
That is delectable.
I don't know what these ingredients are. Sometimes I think it's like a little raspberry, maybe it's pomegranate, but I really don't have a clue. But it tastes very good. We split the dessert, so it came out to be $3.75 or 70 Turkish lira for dessert. But it was worth it. It's definitely high quality and definitely an artisan type of pastry desserts. I would pay 70 Turkish lira for it. Staying out here by the Mediterranean, the weather in the winter is wonderful. It's very mild, and you typically have very comfortable temperatures through the winter months. Occasionally it gets cold, and the air is fresh and the sky is blue. So we're here for our second time. We love this particular Airbnb. We stayed here for 2 months the last time. We stayed here for 40 days this time. Actually, it was about 2.5 months, so we really had about 4 months that we've stayed here so far. And you've got a water view out there. Nice balcony. Huge room. It's nicely decorated. So this is one of the living rooms. And forgive our mess, we're packing up to leave. So we still have a few things around. TV's got 12,000 TV stations. Furnishings are great. Couches are very comfortable. Kitchen has got everything. Water, microwave, coffee makers, gas stove, oven, utensils and dishes, everything was here as needed. You have a half bath. You've got the full bath. And this was a nice shower. Then we have 2 bedrooms, and we're bunching up the linens because this is our last morning. We're pulling out here soon, but this was a fantastic place to stay, and our dogs love the park right here next door, which we go to quite frequently. And there's Abby down below. So your final impressions, honey, of Antalya as we get ready to leave?
I love Antalya, and even though the prices have gone up a little bit this time, it's still such a beautiful city, so much to see, so much to experience, and we'll have to come back eventually again.
Yeah, I think we're just always kind of a little sad to leave here. We feel almost like like we get to feel at home here. This trip had its bumps and bruises, literally, with a sprained ankle and different things along the way. But this won't be our last time to Antalya, but it might be over a year before we get back. But we do plan to be back to Turkey. So if you're following us for the Turkey videos, stick around because we'll be back again.
And we want to see a lot more of Turkey.
Yeah, and from here off to Bulgaria and to Portugal and some countries in between. As we drove out of Antalya, beyond the mountains, we started seeing the sky and the air change quite a bit. So Julie just looked at some sort of weather app that she's been looking at the whole way as we've been driving, checking out the air quality. So we're passing through some small place somewhere. What's our air quality?
55 poor.
55. And what's the app you're looking at?
AccuWeather.
Oh, just simply AccuWeather. Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's what 55 poor looks like right now. So how are your allergies doing, honey?
My nose is itching. That's the cue to the fact that I have an allergy issue.
But is it being triggered by the outside here?
I'm sure. I mean, this is like soup.
We actually found a place called the farmhouse that we stayed at before, and the smog seemed to dissipate when we arrived here. So we're back at the farmhouse hotel. We love this little place. It just feels very quaint and away from everything. Little oasis of peacefulness, but you're not doing without anything. It's got a great restaurant and very comfortable day room furniture, and it's just comfortable. And Julie's hitting up the free tea. Now let me be clear, when I said it's a great restaurant, it is only for breakfast, and it's included in the price of your stay. So for $33 approximately for a one-night stay here in somewhat fresh air, it's not bad. And they have a bakery on site. The bread is 40 Turkish lira a loaf, and there's a chestnut loaf of bread as well as the regular flavor. We got 1 loaf of each. And in case you don't know what you want to buy when you're staying, they'll have bread with the buffet, so you have a chance to sample it before you ever buy it. And apparently they ship this bread out to other places around the region, so it's well sought after and great quality. We learned from our first day that you needed to reserve the bread so that you can buy it to go. There may not be any unless you call ahead, so when you make your reservation, don't forget to ask to get your 1 or 2 loaves or whatever you want to take with you. The breakfast is the same for everybody. It's a saran wrap covered plate with cheese, different types of jams, breads, cucumbers, olives, tomatoes. It's actually pretty good, and there's an egg. Ready? On to Greece?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, you ready to go to Greece, girls? Let's go. Now on to Bulgaria.
That is a man.
Okay, so this is not fog. This is smog. So now we like parts of Turkey, but if you're looking at some of these other areas that are like inland or away from the coast, you might get into areas like this where you can barely see because of the smog, and the air quality gets very poor. So there's areas like Izmir that are highly popular populated areas, that maybe it's going to be a lower cost. You need to really look at where you're going, because you don't want to put yourself into a bad air quality location. And so this is winter, and you can see, you can barely see the signs. And again, this is smog. Yeah, so we've heard that there's been bad smog air quality issues, but we've really literally have been driving through bad smog now for probably half of yesterday and then a couple hours today. So for the last 5 hours of driving, we've been in really bad air quality. So it's the ugly part of Turkey, and it really hits the inland area. So as you get away from the coast, and it really comes from some of the cities like Izmir and Bursa, these big cities just blowing their pollutants out into the inner parts of the country. So be aware if you're trying to look at some of these other locations. We had a viewer ask, well, what about some of these non-touristy areas? Well, Antalya, Alanya, Kash, these places along the coast, they get fresh air coming off the Mediterranean. But you get inland, this is the dirty underbelly secret of this great country of Turkey that we like so much. It gets ugly out here sometimes, and I wouldn't live in this area. And places like that are not helping the cause. So this is why you want to avoid certain areas, why some areas are great and other areas are just a definite no-go. I mean, you barely breathe out here. So I've got my sunglasses around my neck. I haven't had to wear them at all today because of the smog. So a couple hours into driving, and I don't know if I'm going to have to wear these at all today till maybe we get to Greece. But it feels like it's early in the morning, and it's going towards noon, and girls are back there sleeping. You can tell the highway system here in Turkey is fantastic, though. That's one of the pluses. So I wanted to at least point that out. Now that the smog is a little bit thinner, where we can see the condition of the road. That's one great thing about Turkey is when you travel across this country, you got some first-class roads that will rival anywhere in Europe or the United States. So as we drove for almost 2 days through the inland region of Turkey, we just saw factories and chimneys billowing out more smoke, and it was quite disappointing. We actually drove through what's known as the wine country of Turkey, but we never really saw it because we couldn't really see beyond the road when we went through that area. So while the wine country sounds like it might be a great place to go to, I don't know how many days of smog they get a year, but in the winter, it's apparently pretty bad. And we have driven through the inland part of Turkey before in the summer or in the spring or fall, and there was still a lot of smog then, but nothing like this. So in the winter, it gets crazy apparently. So there's windmills, and we've seen a few of them, but we haven't seen them moving today. So I don't know if they're just no wind, but they definitely need some cleaner power. Okay, so we're approaching the newest bridge across the Bosphorus. You can see it's very modern. Got a lot of new roads, bridges. The country's really developing. Yep. Pretty impressive bridge. Spans a long way, saves a lot of drive time. Not too many people using it yet though, but I'm sure over time this bridge will get much busier. Still a lot of construction happening on it.
It kind of reminds me of the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah, it does. It's very similar to Golden Gate Bridge, as Julie just said. I'm not sure what's bigger. Yeah, we think this costs about $10 to cross, so it's not cheap. And coming down to the end on the other side of the Bosphorus. So, yes, now we're in Europe. Just left Asia, now in Europe. We just passed over to Europe. There's the windmills over there, and there's actually turning over here. We have blue skies, so the pollution's gone. Not to say it was just on the Asia side, but at least here we passed over to Europe and things look much cleaner. cleaner. And blue skies ahead, it looks like now. Fresh air. So we're approaching the Turkish-Greek border, which will be interesting. I don't know how much we're going to be able to show, but there's been tension here between Turkey and Greece the last couple of weeks, so hopefully it's smooth sailing. But it's all part of the adventure. So apparently I had a radar speeding fine somewhere, so 321 Turkish lira to get out of the border, and we think it was a bridge guy that was waving us on through that we ended up having to get a penalty for because he thought he was being a nice guy. Don't really mind paying that, it's just the time it took to pay it. Tacked on another 30 minutes. Going across Turkish-Greek border, no man's land here. It's the bridge to Greece. Okay, now we're going to the Greeks. Another long line. All in all, I think we're guesstimating. I think it's taken approximately an hour to get across that border. We hope that you found this video fascinating and enlightening. We hope that you're going to give this video a like, subscribe, and don't forget, Julie and I were traveling the world with our 2 dogs. We're trying to see what it's like to live in different countries, different places, and we're sharing our experiences and expenses with you. So we'll look forward to having you join us on our journey. And until next time, have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.